even doubting Thomas. I feel bad for Thomas one day. I'm going to give him a high five in heaven, because he takes such a bad rap. They call him doubting Thomas
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he doubted. But they don't tell you the second half. Once he put his fingers in the nail marks, he went and turned up continents.
Yeah.
Africa, India. He ripped the gospel through. They said he was an evangelist on a mission. Welcome to the Maverick Entrepreneur Podcast, where business success meets personal purpose. Here we empower entrepreneurs to strike that perfect balance between massive growth and unwavering values. Dive deep into strategies, inspirations, and stories that ensure you set your foundation in faith and don't compromise your family on your ascent to the top. Welcome back to this episode of the Maverick Entrepreneur. We are bringing you part 2 with Dr. Dave, the one and only. And if you missed part 1, here's the truth. You're not going to have context. So I want you to go back, watch part 1. I know it's tempting. I know some of you maybe aren't coachable, or maybe you like to be rebels. I'm telling you, let me set you up right. How we set you up matters. Go watch part 1, get back for part 2. It's going to blow your mind. We're going after some sacred cows right now. We're going to hit on some subjects that might be a little sensitive, but you know what? You as an entrepreneur, you as a believer need to hear them. Let us help unlock you and level your life up in this episode. Stay tuned. Give us your top 3 revelations of 2024.
Well, I'm always learning what an amazing guy you are.
So not about me. Don't.
That's always.
We're already hanging out. We're already hanging out.
Well, a lot of what comes to my mind is just the same stuff getting reminded over and over again. Like I'm
like fundamentals.
Fundamentals.
Stick to the fundamentals.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I see in particular is, we work with entrepreneurs and people they're listening to podcasts, they're reading books, they're always trying to scale and, stuff, but many of them are not attached, and they forget the principle of, like John 15, if the branch is not attached to the vine, it's not going to bear organic fruit. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff, but it's not organically going to have love and joy and peace and patience. So, you and I work with a lot of people, and they're like, I don't know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's like, okay, you sound like a good humanist on a treadmill. You're not attached. Who are you attached to?
Yeah.
Who loves you? Where are you taking in good resources? Where are you getting stewarded? So you're championed inside, filled with the Holy Spirit, Ephesians 5, filled with the Word, Colossians 3:16, filled with God's grace and truth and love. Well, you're not getting anything outside. No. You're an independent, autonomous soul who's out there trying to do it by himself. And
you can't do church online and think you're going to grow.
Yeah, you're not getting the organic transformation you want. You're learning a lot, but knowledge alone puffs up. So, man, you're brilliant, a bunch of principles, but you're stale as a board.
So good.
So, that I just keep learning that over and over again. Dude, I read, 42 books, went to 7 conferences, and I'm like, yeah, but you're no different than the guy I knew back in high school.
Yeah.
And the reason being is there's nothing organic happening inside you. This is why I'm a big coach advocate, or mentor advocate or pastor or champion. Or why? Because you can't reproduce something you don't have.
Yep.
You have to get it from outside yourself, dude. That's built in. The humility of that is built into the creation. And so you just can't, well, I'm just going to think positive thoughts. I'm going to get my head in the game. That's cool, but you can only go as far as you can go. And other people can do some cool things. And the attachments, the meaningful relationships are what fortify the mind, in my opinion. That's what builds shelves in the mind so they can put their thoughts somewhere and they're not so chaotic and disorganized. Those are the fruits of peace, not so stressed, patience, not neurotic. So I keep learning that over and over again. I meet with amazing people like you do, but then I'm like, something's wrong.
Yeah, you can feel it.
And they don't have God, they don't have the Holy Spirit, they don't have a good mentor, coach, someone that they're attached to enough that they're getting something organic happening. So
I think that attachment is such an important thing that I think is missed. Some coaches, don't want to talk about the fundamentals because they're given all these high value things. And then, hey, here's this high value thing. And it's a thought. And in the moment, you're like, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's this connection, how do you get the wheel to the
Yep.
concrete? Otherwise, your wheel spin. But most people don't know when they're being coached, they're just in wheel spin and they're having this feeling the whole time. I call it the jacuzzi experience.
There you
You know,
go.
when you're in the jacuzzi, it's amazing, but that's not transformational. Transformational is when that rubber meets the road and you're watching traction.
Yeah.
And so, um,
I have a lot of people say, Dave, you should be scaling your business. Do online, courses and this and that. I'm like, I guess that can make you more money and multiply and passive income and all that sort of stuff. Good. That's cool. That's entrepreneurial. But look, transformation happens one-on-one. It happens in loving, attached, bonded relationships. And there's no fast way to do that. Even the Lord limited himself to a dozen guys and was down to really 11. So
it's
if I can coach 11 people in my lifetime or in the next several years, that would be a great contribution, because those relationships will be
open
transformative.
doors that are,
And as a result of that limit, then it's like, I don't coach anyone I don't totally dig. I
it's a
don't
true
have time.
statement.
I don't have time to, like, if a detachment's not going to happen, if it's not mutual, like we don't get each other, but there's competence there, and they're super gifted and stuff. Yeah, but there's no chemistry. Like, it's not going to happen.
It's got to be.
Um,
I've had all mine. Like when I do my one-on-ones, like, yeah, but you need to do more. You have more applications. I said, I know, I'm not. It's got to. I want a connection.
yeah, if
You're
the
giving your,
connection's not there, we're not going to
you're giving a
see.
piece of yourself to this person.
These people want their lives
Yeah.
changed, and
Yeah.
only I can't change their life. They can't change their life. But if we're connected,
Yeah.
God can change their life through that
So true.
attachment.
I care about my reputation and their results. You got to be connected.
Yeah.
It's just not you're not putting this blueprint out there and everyone's going to follow the blueprint. You got to have this connection so they believe in the blueprint.
Yeah. I have people say, oh, yeah, I was coached by so-and-so, and then they pull out a notebook or something. I'm like, okay, no. Look, you may learn a lot of principles and stuff. That's super cool, but you're no different than I knew you years ago. So whatever that person did, I don't want to be cruel. I don't want to diminish the time you had together, but nothing transformative happened. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. What's that scripture? It just says, oh, they honor me with their lips.
Yeah.
But it's just talk.
Yeah.
They don't honor me with what they do. So it's action.
Yeah.
A lot of people think, oh, this is what honor looks like. No, it's just you piping off saying nice things about it. How do you show up for that person? That's rubber meeting the road. And that shows up in everything in life. Is you could say all day long what your intention is. Intentionality doesn't put money in your bank account.
Yeah. Well, it's super satisfying for the narcissistic, selfish soul to feel like I did this, I did that. I've gone to church every night this week. I've read this many books. I've gone to the gym 7 times. Okay, good. Your numbers are good. That's great.
Yeah.
The question is, look in the mirror. Do you look any different? Ask people around you. Do they
Ask your
feel like?
wife.
Ask your wife.
Yeah,
like, are you more gracious, more humble, more loving, more present than you were?
My
Because
wife
if you're
said I
not,
need to be more loving.
because so then it doesn't matter what we read. We got to go, well, what's that about, right?
Yeah, it's so true. She goes, you get too intense. You need to be more loving. I was like, what do you mean? See right there. I'm like, okay, you're right. Shoot. Got to work on it every day. Got to work on it every day.
What?
If you said, let's give it some things you're looking forward to. What are some things that you're looking forward to that we could apply to our life? Maybe some daily things, like because
because
see
I'm not a whippersnapper like you. When I
A
was young like you,
whippersnapper.
I was like, what is God calling me? Where do I want to invest my time, energy? What am I called to do? And then trying to figure out those 5 those 5 verticals, those lanes. Like, how much officiating? Okay, I'll do that just during season, but then I'll do that. Like, how am I going to make the mix that's physically, emotionally, spiritually fulfilling, where I'm on my game, using my gifts, stewarding my soul? That seemed like the first half of life. The second half is now, who do I want to do it with?
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm right there with you.
It's like, okay, I know who I am. I
Yeah.
know I have nothing to prove. God's
We got
going
to
to
help
use.
other people figure out who they are.
Yeah, my whole life is about our kids and other people and
Do you think that's
and
40?
coaches.
Do you think we got to wait till people get in their 40s, or can we teach them earlier? Because I feel like 40s, you're laying down to the foundation, and then you build something significant in your 50s. And by the time where you're at, you're
I
just living
tend
your
to
best
think,
life.
well, how long do you think people are going to live? I mean, if they
Me?
live a good life, 100? Like if we could just round off at 100.
I round off at 100.
So, you're right at halftime.
But the problem is, I feel people, they're dead at 40. They're still walking, but their spirit died.
How could that happen?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
just
so sad to see. Well, because they didn't have their purpose and they got lost and they got beat up along the way. They don't know how to renew their mind. They don't know how to guard their heart. The Bible says, above all else, guard your heart. And I know people all the time, they're heartbroken. Almost like, then you didn't even take the spiritual warfare is a real thing, but I have all these Christians that don't even know spiritual warfare. They're not even seeing what's going on in politics right now. They're looking at left and right. This is a spiritual warfare at the greatest level. I look at, some of my friends are Jewish. It's like the same thing that happened to the Israelites. It was got a sacrifice. So there was child sacrifice.
Yeah,
there was Jezebel. There was the Baal. There was all this stuff. The same thing is happening today. There's sexual perversion, okay, and there's child sacrifice. What's different? They didn't see it then. They don't see it now. And this is no disrespect, but I had a couple of my Jewish friends voting Democrat, and I go, bro, you are a business guy. How are the scales? Like, do you know what happened to your people? Look at Solomon.
Why would you vote for people who hate you?
That's exactly what but they don't see it. They're so caught up on abortion, mother, female rights. They're so caught on, they can't see
a right to kill someone.
I know that, but they don't see it that way.
I know
we're going down deep.
These are the same people who say your body, your choice, right? My body, my choice. But they didn't do that during the vaccine. They sure didn't say that.
No.
And we're not talking about your body anyways. We're talking about the baby's body. Anyways, we digress.
We digress, Oh, my best analogy I heard on this? Someone needs to hear it. And don't get tweaked. Like, you just need to get your, there is a term called cognitive dissonance. Amen. And it's so important you look that up. Because if this is starting to rally, like, I was all in until these two guys just went down that thing. They're not even a woman. How can they tell me what to do with my body? I'm just telling you this.
If you're getting riled, that's super good. You want to hang out with people that give you vanilla and oatmeal to chew on? Come on.
Riled up.
Get riled and
I riled up because it makes me go, what do I really believe?
Yeah.
And so I told my buddy, I said, look at King Solomon. You know when his downfall was? He says, I got money. I got the biggest military, and he had everyone that knew how to do everything. He had commerce. Where's Israel now? What do you guys need? Oh, we got America. We got our military, and we own all IPO addresses in the world. So we have commerce. So they rely on themselves. The minute Solomon, not like King David, Solomon went to going, I'm the man, the kingdom fell. You look at Israel, where they're at.
Yeah.
They're puffed up. Our military, we have IPOs, we control this, and we're friends with the United States. Right. It's like our relation. I was like, wow, Solomon, as soon as you thought you were the man with all these high-level people, you had your war, that's when the fall happened. And it's just like, got to humble yourself. But I mean, history repeats itself. Look at the blueprint. Look at the Old Testament. Man, I hate to see my friends go through, but if we don't do something different in America, we'll end up just like them.
Well, you're doing a good job. You and I are sword and trowel guys. So you're doing a good job of not only speaking the truth, but exposing lies.
Yeah.
And,
and I love my sword and trowel, by the
way. we love feeding the sheep, but we've got to fight off the wolves, and everyone should know this, right? Yeah. When you plant a garden, it's beautiful. You better pull weeds.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful garden's not going to, you got to pull the weeds, dude. Developing kids, that's great. But better discipline them. Because just development isn't going to do, like, they're not seeing that a lot of what we're pointing out, whether it's politically or what's happening in the public square, whatever. It's like, we're not trying to like blow you up. We're not trying to be mean spirited.
You find out what you really believe when someone says,
but you're getting warned. We're watchmen on the wall, and we're giving you a heads up.
Exactly. Someone came to me and said, they made me get the shot because now they're sick. Now they're coming in my hyperbaric. They wanted a discount. My hyperbarics, not cheap, and they were getting, I had more people with long COVID or, had reactions to the COVID shot that I had to put in my hyperbaric was going from 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. around the clock. I mean, I blew 2 hyperbarics. I mean, I've had hyperbarics for years in my practice. A lot of athletes, concussion, strokes. That's what it's mostly for. But I have more people with COVID symptoms, and we just found out, man, it got rid of COVID vaccine symptoms. that were hurting people, and it just helped their brain heal up and their body heal up and some of these massive reactions. So it was going around the clock. People, the word was out. I wasn't even advertising. I didn't even know. Just the word was out. But it's amazing because I popped 2 of them. You do all this stuff, and someone said to me, "Yeah, they made it." No, you chose them. Yeah, I would have lost my job. Well, your job was a higher value than your health. Now you're paying the price
Yeah.
because one, you valued your job above you.
Yeah.
They didn't make you. They didn't hold a gun to your head. Well, yeah, they would have fired me.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people I said, good, get fired?
Yeah. Consequences are a real problem, right?
Because people aren't taught consequences as a kid.
But you got to embrace it. Look, from reffing, right? I didn't get vaccinated. They took all my games away. 2 years in a row.
Wow.
All NCAA games, my entire schedule gone.
And you held the line. So
I'm not going to get vaccinated.
Oh,
And now I'm on that infamous list of non-compliant NCAA referees, right? But we'll see what they do this year. But look, at some point you have to decide which I'm not putting a spike protein in my body.
No.
No.
Well, you're thinking, you're
it's not even a vaccine. They've already lied to us so much.
Totally
Who knows
lied.
what?
But it's all coming out now. And then now people have regret. I mean, I have people down at my altar all the time that I'm going through because now they have anger towards the government. They're upset with themselves. They can't forgive themselves. They got to forgive themselves. They got hoodwinked.
Yeah.
But what happens is the journey is, why'd you get hoodwinked? Because you didn't do work knowing who you were. It wasn't even a question to me. I was just, my whole thing was, how do I protect my family? Because, there was reports of people breaking in to homes, especially in the foster care, taking the kids and vaccinating them.
Right.
And I was literally just trying to have internal dialogue. How far am I going to take it if they come to my home to take my kids? I was literally role-playing scenarios.
Right.
I had family lined up. I had neighbors lined up. I had every scenario that could go down. They show up at my school, exit strategy. I had to educate my kids in a way that I never thought I'd be talking to my kids about it. But I was taking it that serious that they're going to be, because we're pretty outspoken.
Well, we had that bunker in Idaho for you and I to escape to if we need to, right?
That's right.
But you're right. They are coming. They are coming for us.
So know whose you are.
You're going to get canceled. You may get deplatformed. You may get fired. But figure out who you are and what you want to do with your life. You only get one.
And this is the difference. You look at the disciples, man. This is how I know when entrepreneurs know that they know that they know they're on the right track. They'll run through a wall. These disciples all folded like deck chairs when Jesus was crucified. They went back fishing. Peter felt sorry for himself. They were all victims. But when they saw him, resurrection, this is how you know it's real. You look at their behavior before. Was he Simon? Was he Peter? Was he Simon Peter? He was never Peter Simon. You know what I mean? But then you know what? When he was preaching to 3,000 people, and man, power of God hit, he was Peter. The rock in which I build my church. I just want to be around a bunch of Peters that know who they are. But it wasn't until even doubting Thomas. I feel bad for Thomas. One day I'm going to give him a high five in heaven, because he takes such a bad rap. They call him doubting Thomas because he died. But they don't tell you the second half. Once he put his fingers in the nail marks, he went and turned up continents. Africa, India. He ripped the gospel through. They said he was an evangelist on a mission. Because there was no more doubting Thomas. There was certainty Thomas.
Well, and he's super helpful for the rest of us who have questions or, we have some things that we need that are unresolved. I love the Great Commission, right? Matthew 28, 18 through 20, all authority has been given to me in heaven and earth. Go and make disciples. Go, make the call, do it,
Yeah.
I'm with you always till the end of the age. But at verse 16, just 2 verses before he says all authority, it says they had met at the mountain that he told them to meet, but some still doubted.
Yeah.
He doesn't say a dang thing about it.
No.
It's such a great opportunity for Jesus to go, what is going on here? I've been with you 3 years. I've done miracles, told you parables. I've risen from the dead. I let you touch me. We ate. What is going on? He doesn't even address it. He's like, take your doubts with you. Let's go.
That's so good. That's so good.
So for those that are like, well, I'm a little more timid. That's fine. Step out in faith. Welcome to the journey.
Yeah.
Bring your questions with you. Let's go.
I loved it. It's amazing. I want to talk about one more sacred cow because I think you have insight on it. I've never talked about this ever. Matter of fact, maybe this is counseling for me. I always look, because I went to Westmont, a bunch of PKs and, and I was loud and not proud, but maybe back then I was proud. I was loud and proud I was a black sheep rebel. My goal was like, man, how many people at Westmont can I take down? I want to find out what they really believe. You know what I mean? Let's go. Because I was so sick of hypocrites.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of entrepreneurs that rent a house for the weekend and do a podcast in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like they rent a Turo car, and it's all this. I want real.
Yeah.
So, being raised around, my grandpa was a pastor, my uncle was a pastor, and I didn't want to be a pastor because one, my grandpa was amazing. Loved people. He loved people so much his family got neglected.
Mm.
Matter of fact, everything was about building the church, and so guess what? He lost his marriage. Both his boys, one went down the drug round, one, spun out this way. My mom was a purebred. She was the oldest, so a little bit more
Mm.
maturity there.
Ouch.
I really believe God protected my mom. But there was just some stuff unhealthy. He didn't have a model. Everything was for the church, the church. And so I said to myself, I ain't sacrificing family. I made some inner vows,
Yeah.
And I saw some other pastors that were like, dude, that guy's my other uncle. He's so judgy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to be, if I'm going to be judgy, I don't want to be, I don't even like Christians.
Yeah. No.
They're one way on Sunday, then they judge me all week on Monday. The one thing about when I was living my life, I was the same on Sunday as I was on Monday.
Yeah.
And the only one that thought I was a good kid, I think, was my mom. She was in denial. She was always, I hope she was just prophesying to her mom, because she thought I was an angel.
Yeah.
I mean, I hotboxed a car one time, and I looked over, and my mom's best friend was in the car and saw me. And as I was doing this, I looked over, and there she was, and then so my mom, when I got home, my mom was so ticked. She goes, "I saw so and so today. They said you were smoking weed in a car on the way to the football game." I said, "Mom, why would I do that?" I mean, I fully lied to her. My mom goes, "Yeah, she must be jealous of our family," and she went and ripped that woman. I mean, I just said, "Oh well, don't narc me out," But I mean, I had to repent on that years later because my mom just believed me. My mom's like, "Yeah, my kid's good. Why would he do that?" And I said, "Mom, there were a ton of kids smoking weed. I don't even. How would she reckon? Who'd she say I was with? Oh, she had this car." And I said, "Oh no, that's so and so's car. Yeah, they smoke weed all the time." I was like, "What, babe, Dad?" Anyways, but fast forward. This is what I'm learning now that I have 3 kids. Super important to me. Chiropractors. The vitalistic ones usually are generational. So a lot of my friends that I went to school with, their dad was a chiropractor, their uncles were chiropractors, their grandpas were chiropractors. Chiropractic was such a big thing. They became a chiropractor. And so when you're surrounded by all these kids of chiropractors, you're like, wow, that's inspiring. And then when you live an inspiring life, why wouldn't they want to be a chiropractor?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And maybe if they had one kid, maybe they want to be a firefighter or whatever. But kids that are inspired want to be what their dad or their mom are, usually. And it's funny because some people that I know, they're that said they were Christians, said they were vitalistic chiropractors. Their kids don't want to be chiropractors. So I'm talking about living congruent. And I watch this trend. Then I have other friends that are just living this life. They don't talk about it. They just live this purebred life. It's amazing. I just hung out with them, and they're so proud because one of my buddies, his daughter just graduated chiropractic school. My other buddy, they're all inspiring. But it's like living 2 lives.
Mm.
And I'm watching that the kids that are growing up wanting to be like their parents are the ones that I'm seeing the most congruency in. They want to be, I look at my kids on the dream board. It says on the dream board, I want to be a pastor or I want to be a chiropractor.
Mm.
All 3 of my kids.
Mm.
I'm thinking to myself, and I'm never preaching to them. I'm never giving them the narrative. I'm just living a life that's really congruent. I bring them to my office. I include them. I'm just trying to figure out, where do you think, because we talked about consequence a little bit, kids start going off the rails, that they rebel? And what do you think the why is behind it? I knew why I was. I watched my parents. I went to a church that we were in a gym my whole life. I watched my football coach, who's also my pastor, live a very small life. Almost like the more broke he was, the more like pious. It was like, it was a holy thing to be just serving the Lord. Thinking to myself, okay. But now when I read the Bible, man, God's for me. then who can be against me? If God knows the desires of my heart, he knows I want to be an influencer. He knows I want to do big things for his kingdom. It's like you read the Bible and you just it's like double-minded. You're like, well, I was raised this way, but I'm reading this.
Right.
How do we be congruent parents that can inspire our kids to live the most for their life and not play small? And you became a ref because you said it yourself. Your dad was a ref, and there's something innately you must have loved.
Yeah, I think, if your kids love you, they're going to want to be like you. Now, it doesn't have to be totally literal.
Totally.
Look, you align bones and bodies,
Yeah.
but they might want to align people's minds and
Yeah.
go into psychiatry or, helping people
Well, hopefully not
counseling.
psychiatry. They're drug pushers.
They're
just so
drug.
you know.
There you go. Thank you.
Psychologists,
So,
marriage counselors,
psychologists.
I'm down
That's
with.
what I meant. Thanks for the self-correction.
Psychiatry, I'm trying to put them out of business.
There you go.
And you could tell them.
So I think if they're congruent, they're going to be like, I want to align people's souls. I want to align people's, even if they're not aligning bodies and bones,
Yeah.
And I think the parents that are super loving obviously have enough space for their kids to have their own lane, their own thing. So there's no need to rebel against it. When I taught at Biola University 10 years and you get all these PK kids,
You've seen it.
if it was too Tupperware tight, there's no space for him to be his own man. He has to separate. For this cause, a man shall leave his father and mother, not just marital. He's going to have to separate and develop his own identity. And if there's not enough space for him to do that, he might do something really radical to make it absolutely clear. I am not my dad's son. I'm myself.
Wow.
So I think those parents that leave room for them to have their own space, there's nothing to rebel against because you get to do it. And you're able to embrace the good. You don't have to split it off in order to do it. So, your kids are going to do fine. They got inspiring folks. And
I mean, but, I'm a hard study on it, but I just think I'm now getting nervous, like, who do we raise them up with? Because not all parenting, it's just like trying to teach as many parents as possible. There's a way to do this.
Well, they need time with Uncle Dave.
They need time with Uncle Dave. You hear that?
Let's
start a basketball league down here.
Let's go.
It's gonna be MA. Let me think about Matt Awaken, conference something.
There you go.
Yeah, MACC.
Yeah,
we'll get some conference going.
Your comment also reminded me too, because we network with a lot of pastors and people, and a lot of times they'll say, how long did you want to be a minister? I'm a minister. I'm like, I don't want to get too punctiliar on language, but remember the people are the ministers.
Yeah.
Pastors are administrators.
Yeah.
We're there, Ephesians 4, to equip the saints for the work of ministry. So every Sunday we're hosting a convention of ministers, whether they're a butcher, baker, or candlestick maker. So if we get that
confused, the lyrics so gangster. Did you hear that rhyme right there? That was so good.
So we can get confused because it's like we can think our ad ministry is our ministry, and it's not.
Yeah.
Our family is our ministry.
That's right.
Reffing on the court is a ministry.
Yeah.
Going to chiropractic.
Selling crack is my ministry.
Apparently. So those are our ministries.
Yeah.
What we're doing at the church is an ad ministry to make sure that other people are equipped to go to their firehouse or schoolhouse and be salt and light.
Yeah.
Make a difference. And if that gets confused and you start to think, well, my ministry is church, your kids are going to get neglected, right? And your family's going to go sideways.
That's so brilliant.
They're going to pick that up.
That's a great perspective. That's amazing. So, it's always a journey. How do you, I'm just trying not to raise communists at this point, but at some point, you got to switch.
That's a real option today, apparently.
Yeah.
I hear there's a political platform that's even running on that.
Can you believe that? Especially after last night. As we kind of wind this down a little bit, if you had to leave some thoughts, you've raised a great family. You're a grandfather now. How many grandkids do you have?
5.
5 grandkids.
So far, let's go.
You've done some great things in your career. You're in the marketplace still. You're a great, great ref, still reffing. What's the future look like? What are you passionate about? And where do you hope this next season brings you?
Well, I hope you and I get more time together because
what's that look like?
Working out together, traveling together, doing ad ministry together, dreaming together.
I love it.
Zooming, connecting, getting away.
Done.
So
is your wife cool?
She's super cool. Yeah,
Really?
she's amazing. She's a
I
little
can,
more introverted and quiet and stuff.
it's like my wife.
Not as bombastic and out there and crazy
Dude, you're
as
like a
you and I.
Webster dictionary. You're dropping, I'm gonna look up, like, I have 9 words already. I love it, man. I just like, I've settled. I've settled for my Forrest Gump vocabulary, and I think I'm inspired. I'm gonna go look up a new word every week.
Oh man,
That's good. I'm gonna do it.
there you go.
You've inspired me. I'm gonna increase my vocabulary in 2024. It's gonna be 2020 more. I like it.
There you go.
Okay,
So
back to where we're going.
yeah, I already shared with you, right?
Yeah.
This half of life is who do you want to do it with,
Yeah.
and try to buddy up with, if you can, whatever you do, try to do it with people you love and spend a lot of time, because I really, like you, want to just give my life away to people. We're not here that long. I'm pumped about the other side. It's going to be super cool while we're here in the danger zone. Let's be as
While we're here in the danger zone.
let's be as impactful as we can.
Let's fly that jet.
I did a men's retreat years ago, and I remember telling the guys, just imagine with me that we're already in heaven. We're already in the eternal state. Like, this is as cool as it gets.
Yeah.
And God comes to you and he says, I have this planet. It's a little bit of a train wreck, but I'd like to parachute some guys in and see if they can make a difference. I'm curious, just as a show of hands, how many of you would be like, I'm in, like, let's go? I was shocked. Half the guys wanted to do it, but half had no interest in it. And then I tried to sell it, like, but you get to come back here for all eternity, safe and sound, no evil, no taxes, no, like, but we could go on an adventure. You'll probably get killed like the disciples and like they murdered our Savior, but we could just go and try to make a difference for a time. Can I get the rest of you? Couldn't get them. What is going on there? So we're here in the danger zone for a short time. We already know our future's solid and secure.
That's a great
So I'm here.
analogy.
Let's make a difference while we're here.
Yeah.
And to do that without being regulated
Yeah.
by all the crazy. And
What's your weakness?
I have so many weaknesses.
Like, give me one. Like, what's your one you're working on?
Oh my gosh, I have so many.
Like, what? I mean,
Well, sometimes I can get grandiose and think I can do more than I can. Sometimes I can get tyrannized by the urgent and, not step back and pause and go, wait, what big picture here, there's a lot of things like that, just seeing the big picture. The world is always moving, and work is by nature, God created it. There's always more to do.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I need to stop.
Do you ever want to punch someone in the face?
I'm not too provoked like that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's probably been a part of my journey.
That's good.
And reffing, I think, is
Seth
super.
wants to punch someone in the face. So how do you find someone? How do you coach someone like a Seth Gruber, who is just? I mean, honestly, I only can watch his videos once or twice. Otherwise, I feel something like when I work out. I don't love working out, but I can feel my body shift, and then I feel myself get a little angry, and then I just start driving. I just crush my body, and afterwards I feel good, but I can feel the mental shift. If I watch a couple of Seth videos too many times, I can feel that same, that. It's almost like the power of vortex.
Well, he's prophetic. He's got a lot of Tabasco in his personality.
Yeah,
and
so how do you tone him down or save him or preserve him?
Well, my goal is never to tone him down. I know there's people that would like to do that. I would never want to tone you down. But if I could do anything to tee him up well, frame him, it's, if he's going to speak somewhere, like, I think it's super helpful if I or someone could go up and go, look, we're not going to do nice today. There's already enough nice out there. We're going to just hit you in the head. If you stay through this talk, just buckle up, take it. Shamu's going to splash you. You're in the splash zone. Take what you can and process it and stuff. But you've been duly warned, because there's 50 other churches within driving distance of here where you're going to hear nice. So if you're willing to, a little lightning, sons of thunder, let's go.
Yeah.
Buckle up. Let me welcome our speaker.
How many people end up leaving his talks?
Well, I don't think they do leave once they're a little bit warned. I think then they're ready. If they don't get if he doesn't get set up well, though, they think they're coming in for a powder blue and pink, baby shower. you know,
then they get
about,
slapped in the
and
face.
then someone hits them right in
So
the
the
face
setup's important.
with the death culture. So the setup is super important,
Yeah.
right? It's super important for you. And if you're like, you're going to be hearing a really super nice guy who's going to bring out his little small pet, and they're going to have, like, you're going to love it, you know?
Well, if you
That's
set
one
up
thing.
David, it's David playing the harp or David kind of cut your head off, but at least give him the setup.
Yeah, you want the setup,
I
like,
want the
you know,
warrior or the statesman.
yeah, we've got David confronting Goliath right now.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the sight of blood and things that are decapitated, now's your time to leave.
Come back when he's playing the harp for Saul.
Yeah. So I think if you set people up and they're just braced for it, they
Yeah.
can handle a lot. But I don't think we set people up well.
Oh, we're gonna have to do a segment one day on the setup, the art of the setup.
Yeah,
That could be good. Well, listen, I know we've covered a lot of topics. I appreciate you, and I could tell just by, man, you might have to coach me just on better vernacular, but just on just who you be. You're such a resource, and I'm going to make sure we put all your details on here because there's some people specifically watching. I have pastors from around the world that watch. I have entrepreneurs that, you know, are successful. I have entrepreneurs that are trying to find their way.
Yeah.
And I know they're all high caliber. I get people tweaked all the time by these podcasts. And I was like, well, you're not ready for it. You know, when the student's ready, the teacher appears.
Yeah,
I appeared and you got tweaked. You're not ready for what we got.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tone down and become vanilla.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, there's
I
lots
rage
of
against the beige.
there's a lot of beige out there. And if you want that, go get it.
Go get it. If you want hype or convicts or in your face, you know, I was like, yeah, listen, I'm going to start working out with you. I'm going to look like one of those guys. But you mean, I'm not going to go like, I'm not going to do a podcast with my shirt off ever. I don't care if I was completely chiseled. I wouldn't do it. I just saw a podcast. This guy was sitting there. I'm like, how you can pay attention to that? Everybody watching the dude's podcast is a wife going, hey, babe, you need to watch this. It's not a guy going, oh, I'm really fascinated by this guy. He inspires me. No, bro. Put on a shirt and tell me something I need to hear. You know, I don't need to hear what protein powder you're selling. But anyways,
funny.
I digress. But I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for your gift. I'm excited, and I love the fact that you're in front of me leading the way with a bright light. So I can follow. You know, I think so many people are chasing somebody, but the room is dark, and along the way they're chasing something they can't see clearly, and then they're getting their knees busted up, they're hitting into a chair, they're tripping over things along the way. But you do a great job of illuminating your path so others can follow you, and I was very grateful. That's why I felt like, you know, the Holy Spirit was just like, that's who you're gonna be around.
Well, you're an amazing guy. You give so much to your wife and your kids, and people that know you behind the scenes as well as on the camera know you're the real deal, authentic, very rare, unusual, 5-talent, you know, multi-gifted warrior. But you can do a lot of things with your life, and the fact that you're choosing to, you know, partner and champion other people is super inspiring. So thanks for all you do.
Well, thanks for what you do. I received that, and I'm excited for the future.
Let's go.
So we're going to come watch a game real soon, and we're going to find some B-roll, so stay tuned. It's going to be like, you're like the F1 of the NCAA, which is very inspiring to watch. I like it. So we'll see where this goes, and I just want to thank all of you for watching this episode of The Maverick Entrepreneur. You can get more resources on any of the platforms out there, but send us a DM, hit us up, what you like, what you need, and we want to bring on the people that aren't going to make you just feel good for that jacuzzi experience. We want to bring on the people that are going to help you want to transform, level up your life, and do big things, because that's what God has for you. He's imparted a DNA on the inside of you to become a world changer, to be more than you think you could do now, and not to do life alone. So when you get around other people that think big, you yourself will think bigger. Don't play small, level up your life, and we're glad you got to hang out with us during this episode. We'll see you on the next one. God bless.
I am a fighter. Got a dream.